Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and, of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Welcome to 2017. Holy cow, I got the year right. And for all the technical difficulties we've been having with the different streams, we are live and ready to play on this third day of January. Welcome into Back to Basics on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net. Yours truly, the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne, behind the control panel. Going to be joined by tag team partner Phil Stamper at the top of the hour. We are at 11 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour on the Eastern Seaboard. Chaos and then some. Before I go any further, on behalf of the entire Beyond Ringside family of shows, we hope that everybody has been enjoying a peaceful holiday. Kicking off 2017, a little quiet, except for up north. They're getting all the white powdery stuff. Hopefully everybody's got their snowshoes and snowboards and everything else ready to go. For us down here in the southeastern U.S., the Weather Channel is teasing us again. And if it actually happens, I'll be good to go. Going to lay this one out real quick. We've got a station-wide question that we're going to be hitting everybody with. And like I say, chat room is open at BeyondRingside.com, at Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/BeyondRingside Live. You are more than welcome to chime in. Who, in your opinion, now you don't have to just make it one person. You can actually make it, give me your top three. Who would you consider to be the genuine MVPs, most valuable players in the worlds of professional wrestling and in the worlds of mixed martial arts in calendar year 2016? Who are your top three in each of those fields? Or if you just want to take one, that's perfectly fine. Once again, chat room's always open. BeyondRingside.com. If you hear something, please chime in. Love to find out what you got on your brain. Like to welcome in an old friend of the family. Glad to have him back on board. It's been a while with the AIWF Matt Classic. How the hell are you?
How's it going, Eddie? It's going great. Hope y'all are going great as well.
It has been peaceful so far. We've actually took last week off to give everybody a chance to just chill and relax, whether they are doing the solo thing or the family thing. But 2017's kicked in. The holiday season is in the books. Thank you. It's gone. Bye-bye. This officially means that I cannot say the words bah humbug officially for another 11 months. So I'm good with that. I'll normally pick that up right around Thanksgiving, but now I've got to say this. First off, AIWF constantly growing, constantly on the move, not sitting back, resting on the laurels, and always looking to attract top promotions and top talent, not just from across the lower 48, but around the world. Right, Matt?
Yes, sir. We have 96 currently, everywhere, all over the United States, the United Kingdom, as far as India, Africa, Australia, you name it, we're there.
Yeah, I was looking at the list of promotions. And you're right, all the way to down under into Australia, all the way around in our neck of the woods, including good friends of ours in Piedmont, Alabama. Pro South Wrestling every Friday night, 627 Southern Avenue. Cheap pop there, and cheap plug too. Now, I do want to ask you about another one that I believe is going to be in South Alabama, and they work South Alabama as well as Northwest Florida, and that's CASW?
Yeah. CASW's been with us a long time.
Which promotions? Now, I'm not going to ask you to play favorites. I would never ask you to do that. Seriously, I wouldn't. But as far as, because, some promotions love to do homegrown, but also you have those who love to try to bring in, or as the old phrase goes, try to hotshot the card. Which ones do you consider to be in the genuine hotbeds of professional wrestling right now? Just right off the top of your head.
I mean, with us in the AIWF, I'm real happy with what's going on at Throwback Wrestling. They're starting television in Huntsville, Alabama last weekend.
Nice.
So, I mean, That's growing very well. I mean, I think Mega Pro up in West Virginia is doing well. AIWF Southwest out in Texas is doing killer. I mean, everybody in the AIWF is pretty much doing good business right now.
Now, you're based out of the Tar Heel state. Okay, I will just go ahead and say North Carolina because I know if I throw out the word Tar Heel, I always get crap from somebody. It's like, what about the Blue Devils? What about the Wolfpack? It's like, okay. Because, see, personally, I'm Wolfpack. And no, it's not an NWO thing. I go back with Jim Valvano all the way back to that run where he was head coach there, and always, of course, big supporters of the V Foundation over here. Anytime that drive comes around, we're definitely on board with that one. But how are things in North Carolina right now?
North Carolina is great. I mean, the wrestling business is as solid as ever. I mean, you saw TNA recently taped at the Hardy compound. That's right up the road. I mean, it's basketball season, so it's Tobacco Road. I mean, the worst thing they did was take the ACC championship from us. So, hey.
Now, let me throw this one out to you. When you see an opportunity where you have a nationally televised product such as Impact coming up to the Hardy compound, and they're bringing in faces that a lot of people are not that familiar with, what kind of a smile does that put on your face?
I mean, that's great. It's always great to see people succeed, and I mean, that's what this business is about. Is you got to get to the next generation.
Now, speaking of generations, I'm going to use a round number because some people say 10 years, some people say 15, and some of us say 25. Now, that number, of course, holds a very special importance for you, right?
Yes, sir. AIWF Wrestling celebrates 25 years coming up in 2 more weeks. That's a big landmark achievement, and we hope to definitely do another 25 or more.
Now, the 25th anniversary show taking place, like I said, right around the corner, and that's going to be Saturday, January the 21st. That's 6:30 p.m. local time up in Mount Airy, North Carolina, and you have got a stacked lineup already on this one.
Oh, yeah, we've got a stacked lineup. We got the world title in a steel cage. Rodney Mack, former WWE star, defends against Eric Darkstorm. We have a steel cage gauntlet. The winner will see a future AIWF world title shot. The America's title will be defended in a dog collar match, Scrapyard Dog and Jagged Edge. The Cruiserweight champion, Ray Fury, defends against James Anthony. That's going to be one not to miss. 2 AIWF former champions and legends, if you want to call them. Jimmy Love and Justin Flash collide for the first time in about 3 years. We got Elimination Survivor Series rules. The Old School Outlaws and Team Pod Life, they've been getting it on locally. We got the AIWF Georgia Heritage title match and a Mayberry Street fight with Terry Lawler and Justin Legend. We have the AIWF Legacy Rumble. No telling who's in that. I'll tell you that right now. The Northeast Tag Team Championships will be defended. The Hoods are going to come down and take on their nemesis, the Heavy Hitters. They primarily are in the Rhode Island, Massachusetts area there. Then we're going to open it up hot. We have a 6-pack Cruiserweight Challenge. Winner gets the AIWF Crazy 8 slot coming up in March. But, hey, even Vince Russo has commented on that. You can see that video on our Facebook page.
Now, before we go any further on the anniversary show, I do want to ask you for an update on the Crazy 8.
The Crazy 8, 4 people's been announced so far. We got Teddy King, who's a great talent. Joey Lynch has been making waves. Chase Jordan, who's a great star in that local area. And Menace, who's been all over the Southeast. They're the 4 announced so far. It's going to be in Rossville, Georgia, at UEW Arena. And also, Throwback Championship Wrestling will be there taping it, and it'll air on TV in the Nashville and Huntsville, Alabama markets, and many more, hopefully.
Now, I do have to ask, we had a conversation one time. Has there been a plan put in place to where, per se, there is a full-scale AIWF showcase, per se, whether it be television-based or internet-based?
Well, I think that's what we're working with currently with Throwback Championship Wrestling. We're trying to work it out. That's where our television championship is hosted, and they're currently in 5 TV markets. We're trying to expand that. And I think that's our focus right now when it comes to television.
Now, coming back over to the anniversary show, just for a minute, because I want to come back over to the Crazy 8 also. I'm going to bounce back and forth. You know me by now. It happens. Oh, yeah. It happens. I have a trampoline. We go back and forth. The Steel Cage Gauntlet match for the number 1 contender for the AIWF World title. Can you give me the ground rules that you've got in place for this gauntlet match? 2 men start. As each man is eliminated, another one comes in.
last man standing or surviving is going to get a future world title shot.
Now, I noticed some of the names that you've got on here. Kilo, Josh Matthews, Shane Daniels, Scott McKenzie, Psycho John Williams. Now, I noticed there on the event page, there was an open-ended. Are there more names about to be announced?
Oh, there definitely could be. You never know what's going to happen.
And the Legacy Rumble, let me go ahead and pop you on that one real quick, because you've always had a penchant for back. We agree that our backup plans have backup plans. Because I know that you're putting out the open call for the Legacy Rumble, but you've also made the statement on social media that in the eventuality that something occurs, you may not just be in the Legacy Rumble. You could actually end up in 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or any type of match that's possibly out there, considering the fact that transportation difficulties do occur, right?
Indeed. That's what I said. I don't know who's going to be in the gauntlet. I mean, we've had a couple cancellations on that. Opened up at least one spot. You never know who's going to be on Team Outlaws or Team Pod Life. I mean, you never know.
Now, for those who would like to try to get it now, is it specifically for AIWF talent, or is the Legacy Rumble on an open call?
It's an open call. Anyone. You have boots, will travel. You can get your ass in, get your ass thrown out.
There you go. Now, let me come back over to the Crazy Eight for a second, because that has always been one of the most talked about and eyes-on situations. When it comes to the Crazy Eight, what is your main criteria for individuals getting involved?
Well, I mean, we do, obviously, the Cruiserweight tournament, there is going to be a change in the weight limit this year. We did, as of January 1st, the AIWF, we dropped our Cruiserweight limit from 220 pounds to 215 pounds, so that just means guys can't eat as much hot dogs. But
there goes the bonus.
Yeah, but I mean, we're just looking for guys. It's different things. I mean, we're looking for established guys who have a reputation. We're looking for guys that are young, up and coming, that are hungry. But we just want to give the best matches to the fans and just talent from all over. And I think if you look at the history of the Crazy Eight, I could definitely say in the 7 prior events that we've accomplished that.
Very true. Very true, because you managed to attract some of the brightest young talent and keeping it in a specific weight class. You know, a lot of people sit back and say, well, why has it got to be the lighter guys? It's like, well, first off, I really appreciate some of the things that have been done in the recent years, especially the last 5, where you have the opportunity to see individuals who may not get that limelight, because you still have a ton, so to speak, of promotions that always have a penchant for leaning toward the heavyweights for their spotlight matches. And when go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you do see that. I mean, I have seen some heavyweight tournaments. I know DSCW and Blue Ridge had a Super Hulk tournament with very large guys. I know SWF in Tullahoma just had the 1-ton tournament. They had 8 guys that weighed 1 ton combined or more.
Oh, boy. Okay, for those of you listening, I'm going to give you a second to do the math. Okay, second's up. If you haven't figured it out by now, you're in trouble. But, yeah, and when you have a situation, now, let me throw this one at you. With the WWE, with the Fed making that move to showcase cruiserweights that much more, and theirs is 205. You say yours is moved to 215.
215, yes, sir.
Does that put that much more of an emphasis, in your opinion, on the Crazy Eight?
I mean, I think it definitely helps. It gets that style established, more eyes on it. I think people have always enjoyed the junior heavyweights. I mean, it's why the NWA for so long had a junior heavyweight title, even though it might not have been the limelight. It was always an exciting part of the card. I mean, in Japan, you know, that's always, it's not maybe been the top of the card. It's always been maybe some of the most talked about.
Yeah, and you do have some promotions, and let me go and throw this one out. One of my home promotions, actually, in our December main event, it was actually a 2 out of 3 falls match for the middleweight title. So I really, the fans actually had an opportunity to see that showcased. That's one of the reasons, like I said, I'm really enjoying what the Fed's doing with the 205 situation. I'm also a big fan of the Crazy Eight, and I want to wish, keep us posted. Keep me posted on what's going on with the Crazy Eight, because as time gets closer, definitely want to put a major spotlight on that one. Speaking of spotlights, going to come back over to the anniversary show. I'm not going to ask you to play favorites, but I know in your shoes, there's always that one match that you're looking for that is going to be the game breaker, so to speak, or the one thing that everybody's really going to be talking about. Is there one match in particular that just jumps out at you and says, yeah, bingo?
I think Scrapyard Dog and Jack Edge are going to try to kill each other. Yeah.
I worked with Scrapyard a few years ago, always on top of it. And Jagged Edge worked with him recently down in the Peach State of Georgia. And these two getting together in a dog collar match, folks, I'm going to lay it on the line. I do not know if there are going to be guardrails at this event. I do not know if there are going to be ropes, the velvet rope at this event. I do know this. When you got Jagged Edge and Scrapyard Dog going head up, if you see a body flying in your direction, move! Because
we've already bought a tarp for the ring, so if that tells you anything, what we're expecting.
Oh, yeah. But you've got two competitors that are willing to let it all just flat out hang out. And in a dog collar circumstance, which some people would say does favor Scrapyard, but never, ever, never sell Jagged Edge short in any circumstance, even a dog collar match, right?
Right. I mean, he's the king of them down in Georgia.
And I also want to come back over. We're talking about the Crazy Eight, but I want to come over to the six-pack Cruiserweight Challenge that you've got going on. Matt Devine, Jeff X, Draven Lee, Dylan Cage, Irvin Legend, and Drew Game. You know, this is going to be one, and you made a reference to that's going to be your kickoff. How high of a bar do you think that this six-pack challenge is going to put for the rest of the talent on the card?
I mean, it's going to put them on notice. I mean, you've got to follow that. You better be ready.
And let me ask you one other one in particular. I've heard of a Texas street fight. I've heard of a Southern street fight. I've heard of a back alley brawl. A Mayberry street fight. I got to ask you, what's going into this one?
I mean, Falls Count Anywhere in Mount Airy, which is Mayberry from the Andy Griffin Show. People didn't know. Mr. Andy Griffin grew up there. There's even the Andy Griffin Museum in Mount Airy, North Carolina. So there might be a pinfall in the parking lot or inside of there. You never know.
That sounds cool. Now, I want to ask, ticket prices and ticket availability right now.
Ticket prices right now, if you go to brownpapertickets.com, you can get tickets right now. Ringside, $5, general admission, only $2.50 to celebrate our 25th anniversary. If you come day of the show, Ringside is going to be $7, general admission $5.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Did you say day of show Ringside for $7, $5 general admission?
Yeah.
Folks, I hope, clean the earwax out. Seriously, I hope you heard what he said. Excuse me for a second. We're about to have a massacre at Studio 1. Or 1A, actually. We moved. But her is at it again. Longtime listeners are going to know what I mean. Away. Now, you heard him say this. All of this and more. $7 ringside, $5 general admission. Folks, there is no reason to miss this show. North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, y'all all have an opportunity all around the area. You don't just have to be from North Carolina to appreciate this show. I guarantee you that.
And I can already tell you, we pre-sold almost 100 tickets through Brown Paper Tickets. Very
nice. And you said that is AIWF25.brownpapertickets.com, right?
Yeah, ringside only $5, general admission $2.50 if you buy them in advance. $2.50.
Now, before I let you go back and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, how can people track down the latest happenings with the AIWF?
Well, you can go to our Facebook at AIWF Wrestling. It's pretty easy. You can go to our website, AIWF.net. And, you can follow myself at Matt Classic on Facebook. I talk to a lot of great fans, a lot of great talent, a lot of great promotions every day. But, we're pretty easy to find.
Matt, I appreciate you taking the time to come on. Dude, don't be such a stranger. I'd love to have you come back on more often. Keep us posted on what's going on.
When you're stuck in the office 24/7, it kind of happens.
Believe me, I understand the concept. Of course, me and my card, they are the ultimate tag team partners. We burn up the road more often than the DOT does.
Oh, yeah.
But, Matt, always a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to come on board this evening. Folks, once again, mark your calendars, make your plans. It is right around the corner. Once again, the AIWF celebrating 25 years. And the show will be Saturday, January the 21st, Patrol Station Road, Mount Airy, North Carolina. Anything else you want to throw out there real quick?
Yeah, I mean, definitely come to the anniversary event. Like I said, tickets are on fast. You can't beat $250 to get in if you buy your tickets today. Crazy 8 happens in March down in Georgia. I mean, definitely check that out. And I definitely want to come back to Beyond Ringside. I thank you, Eddie, and Beyond Ringside. Y'all have always been a class act to me for many, many years. And, I mean, I wish everybody the best for 2017. We'll see where it goes.
Matt, we appreciate you and looking forward to having you back on very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, with the AIWF Matt Classic right here on Back to Basics. Hang tight. This Tuesday night party rolls on right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
This is Dale the Demon Torborg, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Merciless Ray Mercer, Olympic gold medalist and board member of Find the Dream, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Danny Cage from the world famous Monster Factory, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
This is the seven-figure deal Ace Rockwell, and as long as Wicked Nemesis isn't on the show, please listen. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy Rave, and you're listening to the only Jimmy Rave-approved radio show. You're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Behrens, and you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing Beyond Ringside, and you are a better person for it. Trust me.
The Mad Dog's House of Pain, the only nationally licensed pro wrestling school in the state of Alabama. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, trained by the Junkyard Dog, will be your trainer. You want to be a professional wrestling superstar? Learn from GCW's own Mad Dog's House of Pain. With over 22 years experience, learn from the Mad Dog's House of Pain. 205-567-6482. Start your career today. Call 205-567-6482.
This is Harley Race, 8 times NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, first ever King of the Ring, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
This is Danny Cage from the world famous Monster Factory, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hey, half-heads, it's a 3-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Scrapline Adam Pierce. And just like me, you are locked in beyond ringside.
Back in the saddle and ready to play on a Tuesday night. Welcome back into Back to Basics on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Live from Studio 1A. Don't ask me what happened to Studio 1. Long story. Fast Eddie Layne over here. Welcoming in and welcoming back. Tag team partner, the Phenom Phil Stamper. Phil, my brother, long time no talk to. How you been?
Good. Good to talk with you as well.
Trust you had a peaceful holiday season?
Yes. Not as eventful, but that happens when you're in bed with 100-degree fever.
Ow.
Yeah, it was an interesting.
Sucketh major big ones being sick during the holidays.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did that affect New Year's Eve?
It didn't. I made it out, went to a friend's, had a good time. Though a couple days later, yesterday and this morning, I did not feel so hot. But I feel like I'm back to normal now.
And every one of us who knows each other sits back and goes, please define normal. But we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Speaking of, I actually, I played it down low this year. I actually did not go out to 100 different parties, mainly because I knew that our local law enforcement was going to be in severe effect. So I decided actually I thought about going to New Orleans, but it's like, not a bad idea, but I'm going to go ahead and hold off. I'm going to stay local, stay close. And then lo and behold, New Year's Rockin' Eve does a segment or two from New Orleans, Louisiana. You know me, I would have found a way to shameless myself directly onto the television camera for 1 second, if not more. And I would have gone up to Ryan Seacrest up in New York, kicked him in the head and said, next year, let me host it. Because with all due respect, I don't know the young lady who was hosting the New Orleans segment, but she was horrible.
I heard a whole bunch of different things about the New Orleans segment. Well, I heard at least about the CNN one where he got a live tattoo. Or not tattoo, piercing.
Yeah, I'm not that... So many different places were doing stuff, and it's like I knew that it was a perfect tie-in for New Year's Rockin' Eve to do something New Orleans because they are part of the ABC Go network. So they're, of course, ABC, ESPN doing the Sugar Bowl broadcast. So they're tying in for the Fan Fest. So it's just as easy to take a truck down there and say, hey, we're going to hook up now. And then, of course, Jason Derulo, not bad. Even in the rain, the kid's a consummate. I mean, I will say this. He is a professional, and he is a trooper. Rain and all, he was on stage. And I give credit where credit is due because so many different performers anywhere around the entertainment industry would have said, hey, man, there's rain. I can't go out there in that. How many times have we seen that?
Sorry, I got slightly distracted, and I'm going to give you a reason, and then I'm going to shut off my Facebook because this is what keeps happening to me. Because I'm like, I can do 5 conversations at one time. Why not?
Are you doing another Q&A live on Facebook?
I am not, but there is a live-action Futurama.
What?
Yeah. So I'm gonna click off that one.
Begrudgingly, you're gonna click off that one
because I totally started to go all in. Oh my gosh, Hermes and Zoidberg are awesome.
Oh Lord, a live action.
This has to be a fan-made-esque thing. See, my attention span is not that strong. And since I have been mostly laid up this holiday break, there's like an excess of brain activity that needs to be driven somewhere.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. I know how much you do in the worlds of marketing and promotion, as well as through your other work. How in the hell do you find time to get distracted?
That was part of the problem is in the last week, with being sick, I mean, I was laid up, so I just chilled out. I really didn't do a lot of press. I did a lot of, basic social media stuff, but not a lot of writing up releases and scanning for stuff. I'm ahead on the indie wrestling calendar, so I kind of took a break, which was well deserved. And so today's my first day that I've been like full gears. Okay, let me get back. Here's press for everybody almost that I work for. and just cycling through some things. So I think my brain has this just buildup of like, okay, I'm ramping back up. And in my life, I'm using air quotes, like you can see me on a podcast.
There's that word again.
In my life outside of wrestling, my workplace does not return until Thursday. So I am also not currently doing the full-time gig outside of the wrestling full-time gig. So,
and the wrestling full-time gig is almost as much as the regular full-time gig.
It really is. It really, really is.
Now,
and I told my sister-in-law this about 6 years ago. You know, it was mid-recession or late recession, and I made the wonderful decision of I was going to leave my job because of really bad circumstances, and was like, I'm a relatively intelligent person. I have 3 college degrees. I'm going to quit this job and hop right into the next one. Little did I know that the next one was outside of some temp work was going to be 10 months later. Yeah. Go super smart me. Yeah. My brain just died. I forgot where I was going on that one completely.
It's quite okay. It happens to all of us. It happens to, for some reason, it happens here on Tuesday quite often. To both of us.
Yes, that is very true. Though but this is how I actually ended up going back to the internet for a second, because I was like, we just said, you know, no big huge celebrity death yet in 2017. I have to see if anybody is trending right now. That's why I went to Facebook. So I just want to like explain a little bit. Went to Facebook. Charles Manson's in the hospital.
Okay.
Not a celebrity in a good respect, but a very notable figure.
A product of our culture, and where anybody and everybody can be made into a celebrity.
Yeah. But he, according to TMZ, he was rushed to the hospital for gastrointestinal issues. He is 82 years old, and as a reminder, was convicted of conspiracy to commit multiple murders and is serving several life sentences.
Yeah, and some people would still say it's not enough.
Yeah. Several people would probably say that.
Now, let me throw this one out there. I have to do this. When you watch events or, per se, newscasts or things of that, it doesn't matter. It can be news, sports, all of the above, including Weather Channel, which, for once, I hope they're right. But, and if I see Jim, okay, for my friends in North and Central Alabama, if at any time you see a Weather Channel van pull into your neighborhood, applaud. If you see Jim Cantore get out of that Weather Channel van, leave. Go up, get an autograph, shake hands, and then go to another town south. Because that means it's going to happen at ground zero.
Yeah.
Which I'm really kind of wondering, will we actually see Cantore come this far south? I know it's not going to be a hurricane. It's not going to be a major event. But, you know, hey. And of course, I understand you're supposed to be getting some snow, wicked weather in your neck of the woods, right?
It flips every 4 hours. It either is going 2 hours to the north, hitting us directly, or 3 hours to the south. It keeps rotating every 4 hours. So by the time it gets here, we'll see what actually happens. And I remembered now what I was saying earlier when I lost my train of thought about talking about how I didn't have a job 6 years ago. Because I am finally at a point, because of the pro wrestling being a full-time job, and that I'm at a point where I am now in the world of wrestling where I wish I was 6 years ago without the full-time job, because I think I might not have ended up at the outside wrestling employment that I have now with as much of wrestling employment as I have now, but I'm greedy and I want a little more. So,
because you do work with, I believe, Grand Slam.
Yes.
MCW.
Yes.
You had been doing, I'm using that quizzically partial past tense. You had been doing a lot of work with Combat Zone.
Yes, and I still am.
Special hello to longtime friend of the family, DJ Hyde. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Now, and of course, you are also working on the curation for part of the HWA Heartland Wrestling Association archive.
Yes.
I know I'm missing one. I know I'm missing at least one promotion. What am I missing?
I'm doing work with Pro Wrestling Revolver, whose next event is WrestleMania weekend during WrestleCon.
Okay.
I have, as things happen in the world of wrestling, I'm asked here and there about, hey, can you help me do blah, or want to be on this show? I still do work with Rockstar. So actually I'll be sending out some stuff for Rockstar and Revolver tomorrow night.
Yeah, because Rockstar normally does Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rockstar has weekly Wednesday events, and then their pay-per-view of the month is coming up this Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Did not know that. Have not seen press release.
Because it's coming tomorrow.
Now,
I said, I was out. I was not in good shape for the last couple of weeks. And my dad, I had a conversation with my father earlier, who I was helping out today, and I let him know I woke up this morning, regular time, which for me is a little like a 7 o'clock-ish, a little bit before, and was like, okay, I'll be in good shape when my outside wrestling employment starts back up in a couple days. And I said, but I was like, well, I don't have to be up for anything. Let me just, see if I can go back to sleep. I fell asleep and woke up at 11:30.
Ouch.
And that doesn't really happen for me. And my dad's like, well, you needed it. You really need to learn how to rest, Phil. Like, you need to stop going as much as you go. And I was like, this is my dad saying this. He's not the person who's ever said that kind of language to me.
Yeah, no, my parents were the same way for many, many moons. It's like, do you realize? No, I ain't even going to waste my time. That was Mom. It's like, you really should, you're right, Mom. I really should go find a sixth job to go along with everything else I've got going on. That's not where I was going, but shut up and go do your thing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out there. We have created the question for the week, and it's going to go station-wide. And so all of the hosts and co-hosts are going to have a chance to really weigh in on it, on their perspective. And the question for the week is, it doesn't have to be one. It can be, per se, a top 3. And for our friends and allies and affiliates who are involved in mixed martial arts, I will throw the question in your direction. Who would you consider to be the most valuable players in the worlds of mixed martial arts this year, in the worlds of professional wrestling? Yes, because there are so many different worlds inside of the term professional wrestling. Trust me on this one. In the world of professional wrestling, who would you consider to be your MVP or top 3? And Phil, I'm going to bounce the question your way.
I would say definitely the biggest MVP of 2016 in the world of professional wrestling, honestly, is AJ Styles.
Okay.
My reasoning for it is he came in to great applause into the WWE. I mean, he made the best debut ever in Orlando at the Royal Rumble. Got the biggest reaction he probably could get from almost any crowd in the country. Maybe save for Philadelphia, and that launched his success. And I mean, he's still now I'm losing my terminology. So he's the WWE World Champion?
I think it's still World Champion.
Okay. So he's with the Blue brand on SmackDown. I mean, you can make the case that he's the face that runs the place. Look at what I just did. And I mean, really, he is the guy. And in many ways, I mean, I think that has surprised everybody. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think even as there were rumors a year ago about, in a couple of weeks, we're going to see AJ Styles in the Royal Rumble. No, you won't. Yes, you were. No, you won't. Oh, well, the best he's going to be is carrying Finn Balor to the ring for the Balor Club. No one expected what we have seen from him. So for those reasons, for the fact that he has taken the WWE by storm and held on to it, I'm going to declare that he is the wrestling MVP of 2016.
My MVP, my number one, actually, is not full-time in-ring talent anymore. And 90% of the listening audience is going, please tell me he's not going to say who he's going to say. I'm going to say who you think I'm about to say. Because of everything that has taken place with the cruiserweights, with everything that has happened with NXT, with the changing of the guard that has occurred on the red and the blue brands, with the announcement of the women's tournament, with the announcement of the UK tournament, fingerprints are all over this. Because a company is finally expanding its horizons and understanding the prospect of moving in different directions rather than just one and taking the whole Titanic with it. I got to give credit where credit is due. Triple H has absolutely nailed it this year yet again. I mean, with everything that has transpired, like I said, with the cruiserweights coming into play, the World Cruiserweight Classic, and then turning that into the Cruiserweight title, 205 Live. Granted, 205 Live has not gotten the most rave reviews because a lot of people sit back and go, well, man, people are leaving during a live broadcast. Well, it happens. Because why? Because not everyone who goes... Okay. I'm going to quote Josh Wheeler with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. For those of you who don't venture too far outside of the network itself, you don't always know who these people are. Yes, you had a chance to see them in the Cruiserweight Classic. And yes, you're getting a chance to find out even more about them, some of them now in 205 Live, as well as on Raw. You have people who are more hardcore wrestling fans that are sitting back going, finally. And it's not hurting the main roster for either product to go in the direction of 205 Live. I have heard and I have read on social media sites where some people are going, okay, how many times can we see Brian Kendrick and blank? TJ Perkins, for example, last night again on Raw. It's a case of cultivating additional talent that they have under that umbrella and getting people over to 205 Live to find out that much more about them. They're going with the tried and true formula of immediate recognizability. That's normal. But there will be more faces that you will see in the coming days, both on the main roster and on 205. And with the addition of the UK tournament, the United Kingdom Championship, look, that opens up the world and then some. I don't know if they're going to do any other areas. I know that they're really trying to work some deals out with Japan right now. I know they're trying to work out some other international deals. But even just bringing on the UK and adding that to the network, it is genuinely becoming world wrestling entertainment. I'm waiting on Canada to come on board. I'm waiting on, there are so many. Australia, I know that's going to happen eventually. And I do believe, and like I said, let's put the world back in perspective. With everything that has happened with NXT, which is Triple H's baby, I have to give my top MVP honor to Triple H, Paul Levesque, this year, for everything that he has done to try to expand the horizons of WWE. And think about it. I don't know if it was genuinely his idea, but he was instrumental on the on-camera side of putting the Raw Championship on Kevin Owens. And then, lo and behold, bringing in AJ Styles. And even though they haven't made the impact that I hoped they would, no play on words intended, Gallows and Anderson. We can't help the fact that Balor's still out hurt. But to keep everything in play, yeah, that would have to, Triple H would have to be my number one because of everything that he's done this year. Now, do I expect 2017 to be as big as 2016? No, I expect it to be bigger. Let me change that word. I hope it gets even bigger. I've learned something, and this is a word that I've actually had to be careful about the way that I use it. And I want to get your definition on this term also. When we put the word expect, do we automatically set a bar too high for a situation or a company or an individual to match? Phil?
Ooh, that is
major philosophical question.
Well, because there's multiple different ways to think about it. Yes, of course. I think we do. I think when we set ourselves up whenever we say we expect blah. And I think in terms of it working in the WWE, because I also am putting some things in a weird perspective that maybe I'm the only one that sees, that 2 years ago almost was when somebody was posting on Reddit all of the results to the pay-per-views before they were happening.
Yeah,
and not
Boy.
Just their best guess. It was absolutely every single win that was going to happen, and sometimes things storyline that were going to happen.
Right.
I know from a previous friend who worked for the WWE that after he left, and now this was also, I'm dating it, it was 10 years ago, for the longest time after his employment, he remained on a private text message service that the WWE had. So he was telling me of times of people who were being let go by the WWE, and come to find out it was often before those people knew.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, this, and what was rumored, and again, I don't know if this was true, is that whoever was posting it on Reddit was a former employee who still had access. So that's where my brain instantly jumped to that kind of thing. Or maybe it was a current employee who was just outing things. And I remember, I think the last time I heard about them, they did the opposite. They posted everything that was going to happen, but they posted it entirely wrong. So all of the wins were given to the other person. So it was sort of like an FU WWE, like I'm really paying attention. I got a little scared. I just saw somebody trending on Facebook, and I was like, why is she trending? Felicia Day's going to have a baby.
Who?
Felicia Day.
Oh, okay. No.
Sorry. My nerdiness is waving.
There
anyway. But I mentioned that scenario with the WWE and that person outing them on Reddit, because then you saw WWE try to actually manipulate their own results. Right. We're not going to do this thing that we had planned. We're not going to do this thing that everybody else saw coming anymore because everybody else saw it coming, or we're being outed for it. So now let's change this one random thing or these two random things. What is scaring me, though, is, though, yes, I agree with you. There have been these great moments of brilliance in the way wrestling is booked at the WWE, or total surprises that people just don't see coming, is I almost see it being formatted in the same way as we saw before. Here's our routine. Here's our pattern. Guess what? We're going to fall back into it. And I saw really sort of a scathing review of Raw from yesterday, which I did not watch, to be fair, from Bleacher Report, that called out, well, the new year didn't bring anything new to the WWE, and they sort of outed them for their holding true to their form with these very sparing random glimpses of possible moments where they could actually stand up and shine. But they don't. And it was like, and I think that's harsh. I do. But it is sort of, WWE is a global product. They are a mainstream media product. So there is that question of what could they do to push the envelope. But I say that, but then you look at SmackDown. SmackDown Live, which last week beat Raw in the ratings. Maybe that'll happen again this week too. It has definitely gotten a lot more talk than people expected with a seemingly quote unquote lesser roster. I don't even know if that's really that true anymore. I think they've made more with the roster that they've had. You mentioned the cruiserweights. I think the cruiserweights were a phenomenal idea that a lot of people in the company are crapping on. And the easiest way you can tell that is I think we've talked about this before. The audio input level is turned down during cruiserweight matches because of whatever. And the easiest way to tell that, if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to when an entrance music comes on and how loud it is, right. And then listen to when a cruiserweight wins their match and how soft it is. it is just that simple to hear that level of difference. And I think there's so many missteps that have been happening. I think there's a lot of questions now for what it takes to get into the WWE when one of your most over recognizable individuals on SmackDown is James Ellsworth.
And let me jump in for a second on that one, because I went off about this a couple of weeks ago, before the hiatus. And by the way, for those of you listening live, yes, we are live. 2 minutes after 10 on the Eastern Seaboard. 2 minutes after 7 on the West Coast on this third day of January. You are listening to Back to Basics, Fast Eddie Layne, Phil Stamper on this Tuesday night edition. I believe in my heart that the storyline, the arc with Ellsworth, should put everyone on notice in the world of professional wrestling. If you put on a pair of boots or kick pads, you are on notice. For everyone who spent their entire run to this point, whether it's your first day of training, whether you're a 10-year, 20-year vet, the Ellsworth arc proved it could have been you. It was the luck of the draw in that particular circumstance with Ellsworth. Now, I'm sure there were a couple of little minor things involved.
Right.
But for everyone who has been watching this whole thing unfold, telling your television set, damn it, I could have done better than that. Or why couldn't that have been me? It could have been. That is why in this day and age, now that we're in 2017, but Phil and I have said this all through 2016, and I've said this for years. If you don't take the time to put together a solid resume, and I do mean the word resume in the truest sense of the word. And for anybody listening in a little town called Pleasant Grove, Alabama, if you don't know what I mean, look it up real quick. I graduated from Pleasant Grove, so there's going to be some people going, what's a resume? It's not a resume with the accent point over the E. It's resume. And yes, I'm an ass. I know this. To all my friends in Pleasant Grove, how you doing? Good to not see you. It's radio. I can't see you. Trust me on this one. It's not a podcast yet. It's radio.
I mean,
but
Ellsworth did a lot of good things after, when he had the first beatdown from Braun Strowman.
Right.
He did the very smart thing. He put himself out there on social media. He changed his Facebook and his Twitter to say James Ellsworth instead of his own name and instead of Jimmy Dream, which was the name he worked on the Independents.
Right.
And it got buzz. He had merch. He had merch almost ready to go in the instant, which was, so something else in my brain is buzzing on that one. And other people have tried to say things about that. But he took advantage of that moment.
Yep.
Which, good for him. He capitalized on it. And it led to this seeming success. However,
yes.
and you know what? The same thing can be said for the survivability of Zack Ryder's career. That what saved him from the axe several years ago was that he took a hold of YouTube and social media and catapulted now into what the WWE uses for their social media.
Right.
And they sort of follow what he set up as the precedent. And, you can put that argument that it saved his career. The counter argument to that is, well, people thought he was going to get a lot more out of that moment than what he really did. Granted, he's had a job with the WWE now for several years, and that helped him.
Let me change one word. They expected him to get. Ooh, there's that word. Nice how I tied that in, huh? See, we don't, in this day and age, with the sense of entitlement that is so prevalent in our society nowadays, we don't hope that someone can get something. We expect it. And even in pro wrestling, there is a sense of entitlement. Man, I've trained for 10 weeks. I want a belt. What the hell are you smoking? And please don't send it my way. I only want good stuff. Hickory chips for a salmon. But coming back to it, I still sit back and say to this day, the way we have said it before, if you consider yourself to be a professional in this industry, known as professional wrestling. Same thing in mixed martial arts. Same thing in boxing. Same thing in roller derby. And I'm not knocking roller derby. I'm using it as a very strong example. If you're good at what you do, and people tell you you're good at what you do, and they're not just blowing smoke up your wazoo, why don't you have a resume ready to go? Why haven't you been finding a way to video your matches? Don't just create highlight reels. That can be done. But promoters, and especially the majors, are going to want to see complete matches. So, if you're taking on Jimmy Podunk, you look great, but he looks like ish, it may not work. Although, it does happen from time to time. Showcase your best matches. If you want to put them on YouTube, put them on YouTube. Put them on Daily Motion, put them on Daily Motion. Facebook video, that's fine. But there is no excuse in this day and age. You know, I can walk into Best Buy right now and get a cheap camcorder for $200. Walmart just wrapped up the holiday season. You could have put one on layaway, paid it off in 2 months. Trust me on this one. There is no excuse. Everybody has a friend that's got a video camera. Hey, man, I'm working this show this coming Saturday night in Carrollton, Georgia. Can you come videotape the match for me? I'll buy you dinner. Even if it's 2 hot dogs and a Coke. I didn't say what dinner was going to be. I just said I'd get you dinner. But you see where I'm going with that.
I do.
But yeah, go ahead.
No, you go. Please go.
Okay. You're still watching Futurama, aren't you?
I am not. There was a very evil comment being formulated in my brain, and I need to flush it out before I say it.
Well, by the same token, it's like, the same thing we've said about promotion. In the world of professional wrestling, in the world of sports and business, if you are not willing to promote yourself, why in the mortal hell should you expect a promoter to do it for you? In this day and age, it's different than it was when I first broke into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Street teams, we had those. Well, guess what? In social media now, everybody's a street team. You got 1,000 friends on Facebook, 200 of which you know. You can get in touch with 20 of those and say, hey, I'm making an appearance this coming Saturday night. Can you help me put the word out about it? Can you do that little? Can you do that much? In this day and age, you damn well should. But, yeah, and I understand the factor of what Bleacher Report might have said, because I saw most of Raw from last night. I saw the first hour and the third hour. And, once again, I criticize a lot of so-called bloggers who call themselves writers, and trust me, there's a damn difference. I have been a writer for print publications. I have been a blogger. I have been both. I know what the difference is. And I write op-ed all the time, especially when I sit my fat ass down in front of a keyboard and actually type. Voice to text will only get me so far. I drive my voice to text dyslexic. That should be a status. Sometime soon, somebody's going to steal that before I can get it on social media. I drive my voice to text dyslexic. And given 5 seconds, Phil will have that up there going, hey, I heard this line from some dumbass. And you hear that? He's typing, kids. But no, seriously. And I think that it's like I've had a constant running thing, and I'm going to be an ass. You know, one of my more endearing qualities. I think that, in my humble opinion, there are times when Bleacher Report, Torch, Lords of Pain, the Mel's Mellow Man. Yeah, should have put that dork in Ghostbusters and let him get lasered. You know, they do clickbait. Gerwick does clickbait. Everybody does clickbait. I don't do clickbait. I don't believe in it. If you're going to put up a story, if you're going to make a factual transaction or a transposition of a scenario that has taken place, just make it factual. People will go to it. You don't always have to be sensationalistic. Whereas, go ahead.
I will say there is a conversation in my life outside of wrestling. I work for a place. I think some people might. All right, I'll say this much. I work for a school, a I will say it is a school that you have to apply for, and it is publicly funded. Maybe that's the best way to word it vaguely enough. We have had a conversation about the utilization of our social media and going beyond just, putting out some emergency notifications and putting out, important news stories, and the clickbaiting-esque headlines do get attention to focus some of the writing of our professional writers and the social media talent to merge together and possibly incorporate some of those techniques because they do have a working result structure.
Well, we live in a very sensationalistic society where...
Yes.
Okay.
That is very true.
When TMZ is a now more reputable news source than NBC, CBS, Fox, or ABC combined, what's wrong with this picture? When did you think, or did you ever think, that TMZ, Harvey Levin's baby, would be a genuine source for news, or even a genuine source for entertainment news? Did you ever think that would come to light?
No, but now what it looks like it's turning into is that people inside of that industry are looking at it as, oh, wait a minute, instead of like them following us on the street all the time and the paparazzi, like, what if we work with them? Like, give me some breathing room and I'll give you scoops. I'll tell you things that are happening.
Right.
And so they get the official notifications before mainstream media does.
Yeah, they do. I mean, think about it. They've got, with their networking. But see, there's that word again. Networking. They Harvey Levin and company understand the premise of positive networking. It's funny because I look at the National Enquirer nowadays, and I remember back years ago, Enquirer was considered a joke. Thank you, Men in Black. Hey, they post the most real news stories out there. Yes, baby born with 3 gorilla heads. Not wait. But, and we could go in so many different directions about that. But, coming back over to it, yeah, when it comes down to it and everything is said and done, whether it be Impact, whether it be,
how many times have we been told in the last year Impact Wrestling is going off TV? And then look back at its history of 15 years, or at least, and how many times it's been said it's going to not make it another month, and they never were successful.
Right.
In their 15-year run.
Yeah. But once again, we live for the sensationalistic side of life all over again. Because even with our social media, okay, people can only post so many dumb cat pictures.
Oh, don't tempt some people.
I have a friend here in my neck of the woods. He lives for posting cat pictures. Love you, Dan. He's the same one who said, okay, 2016, what's next? Yeah, had to ask. Well, guess what? 2016 is done. Folks, do me a favor. Hang tight. We're going to go to a quick one. Phil and I will return. Back to Basics rolls on right here on ProWrestlingRadio.net and the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Bob Allen, co-author of Gordon Soley's Something Left Behind and the Soley Chronicles, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.